So Abe had a confession earlier. He got on his video or whatever and admitted that a Masonic Lodge system offered him business, life insurance contracts, clients inside their network.
Shit, okay? I won't even go there. About the really weird shit that happened like 3 days later when I run into her again at the jazz festival. Okay? We won't even go into that. But the point is, I showed up and she introduced me to all these other Cleveland police officers at this jazz festival that were working side security as a side security gig. Yeah, they all had this buddy. They all had this buddy. Okay? So then, a few months later, we fast forward a few months later in 2023, I just get this random fucking notification in my phone that tells me to apply for a job, to get my license and certification to sell insurance, like life insurance. And I had an interview with this company that we sold the life insurance through, and they specialized specifically. Now, I didn't know this at first. I didn't know this until after I filled out the paperwork, got hired by these people, and then they started paying for my licensing. That I didn't know that these people specialized in getting life insurance policies and renewing life insurance policies and health insurance policies specifically for all of the lodge systems, fraternal orders, lodge systems, and fire department, fucking whatever those are, in the state of Ohio. Okay, I didn't know that. So I get through all this shit, and then I'm like, what the fuck? So I'm literally selling insurance to the enemy at that point. You understand? So I would basically was like, told them I got the license, and I basically just told them to fuck off. And then I just went my own way.
Think about it. Think about that. And now, Abe wants to play it off like he said, F it. He said, didn't want to take the deal. Here's the checkmate, so to speak. Real targets don't even get invited to that table. Real outsiders don't get, courted by the lodge or their recruiters. If you're being persecuted, mocked, stalked, ruined by the Masons, how on earth do you, end up being offered their money, the contracts, their insider business? Well, logically, you don't, unless you're one of them. And, that's why his excuse, oh, I didn't take it, is absolutely meaningless. The very fact he was in a position, to be offered shows he's inside their network. He's trying to sell you the image of a victim while admitting he had backroom access to the same people we all know are running the game. And then, like a true salesman, he softens it by saying the lodge is just a place where old men gather. And it's weird because one of his family members was apparently, or multiple of them, were in that lodge network, or actual Freemasons, in his own words.
Mason Lodge. The only thing that I know is that I had an uncle. He's not an uncle. He's pretty much like an uncle. He was my grandpa's cousin. And he served in the Marine Corps before me. So he's a distant, like, second, third cousin of mine. He served in the Marine Corps before me. And he was caught up in some KKK shit. Back in like the early 1970s or something. And he turned his life around because he joined Freemasonry. Okay, that's the only thing I've ever heard of. And then he joined Freemasonry because his cousin, my Uncle Rex, who was my grandpa's brother, was also in Freemasonry. These are realistically the only people I know of in my family, except for my cousin on my side, who joined Freemasonry like back in like 2012 because he thought there was like all these secrets he was going to learn. And then he went in there and he said it was just a bunch of old people and it was fucking weird.
And yeah, that's not a critique. And if you think about it, it's really PR for Freemasonry. So the mask, obviously slipped. Whether or not Abe signed on the dotted line doesn't even matter. The moment, he admitted the offer, he exposed himself as lodge connected. A real target would never be in that position. Yeah, and that's why the so-called TI community is packed with actors who cover for each other, actors who cash checks, while pretending to suffer, actors who mock real victims while sitting at the table, with the very people we're fighting against.